The Australia-New Zealand area certainly punches well above its weight in biometrics. And I want to give you a couple of examples, perhaps 3 or 4 examples of why I believe that's true. First of all, I want to talk about the Biometrics Institute just in general. It came to me, it's kind of a shock to hear that Aaron was stepping down from the board of directors. I had no idea this was going to happen. So much has happened under Aaron's tutelage, and certainly we have to credit Isabel as well. Biometrics Institute started as a little tiny group. I remember speaking the first time about 12 years ago in Redfern to the group, and there may have been, we were pretty happy. We had maybe 30 people there, or 25 or something. It's now an international organization, meetings being held in Washington, D.C., meetings being held in the UK. In fact, I was just at last month, the big UK meeting, very, very well attended. I don't even remember how many hundreds of people were there. Isabel, how many hundreds of people were?
230, I think.
230.
Yeah.
That sounds like an underestimate if you count all the vendors and everyone else.
Yeah, that's
right. I'm sure it was much, much more than that. 230 delegates, with all the vendors and everything.
1,200.
People at a meeting in London. It wasn't just any place in London. It was the Queen Elizabeth II Centre, which is really the primary place, in my opinion, in Westminster, right across the street from Parliament and Westminster Abbey. The point I'm trying to make is that Biometrics Institute started out as a little Redfern, Sydney, Australia group, and has ended up as the worldwide leader in this area. And this was not the first time that anyone thought of the idea of a biometrics industry group. The very first biometrics industry group I can remember was formulated about 1986. They had 2 meetings in New Mexico, and then the group kind of went away. I doubt if there's anybody here today that would remember the Commercial Biometric Developers Consortium. That lasted for about 3 years in the late 80s. I'm not going to mention the rest of the groups that came and went. What's interesting to me is that for about the last 13, 14 years, the Biometrics Institute has not only flourished, it's become an international institute. One example of my point that Australia is punching above its weight in this area. Australia certainly is far from being the largest country in the world, having only about 23 million people. You add in the New Zealanders for another 5 million. You really don't have a significant amount of the world's population, and yet this group has put together the biggest and most successful biometrics consortium-like group in the world.